we're a clean brand. We talked about it in the beginning. Like people just don't give a shit. Like that's not unique, right? Like we said high performance. No one really knows what it means. So I think, we maybe didn't do the best job at the beginning, or we've just really tried to refine that and listen to our customers. So it's just changed so much from the beginning.
This is Limited Supply, the place for refreshingly real takes on what D2C is really like.
We're your hosts, Nik and Moiz. Let's start talking about money.
Get paid monthly and take a year off from running your Shopify business with Open Store Drive. Open Store's experts will handle everything, including your business's marketing, customer support, inventory, and more. Shopify businesses with more than $500K in yearly net sales qualify. Head to open.store/limited for details. All right, we are back with the last episode of the season 6, last episode before the new year. And we've got a very special guest today. It is my brown brother, who looks white, but he's definitely an Indian at this point. He goes by the name of Cody Plofker.
Man, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
That's a real compliment.
Yeah, Cody's basically brown.
Yeah,
he's an honorary brown.
I thought you were going to say honorary. Don't give me like the full, but give me honorary. But no, I appreciate it.
We traded before you got here. I'm an honorary Jew. He's an honorary Indian.
Wow. Okay, great.
I appreciate that. And more importantly, I appreciate you guys having me on. This is like one of the podcasts I listen to pretty much all the time. Big fans of both of you guys, and I'm super excited to chat. But yeah, thanks for having me.
We're excited as well. You're not going to have to listen to this one because you're going to be right here. And can you give us, I'll give you a little bit of background and you tell me a little bit more if you don't mind. You're the Chief Marketing Officer at Jones Road Beauty, and you have been since the brand launched. And I want to say it launched like 3 or 4 years ago. Does that sound right? Yeah, 3 years ago. And how big is your organization? Like, what were you doing beforehand? Give us a quick, 60-second version. Let me start out by saying, when I buy biographies, the worst part is always like, this is how Harry Truman's mother treated him. And I'm like, no, get to Harry Truman, the president, because that's what I care about. Tell me the 60-second biography of what you've been up to before Jones Road Beauty.
So I'll start by saying Jones Road is like family company. My mom's Bobby Brown. So a lot of people know it. So she left Bobby Brown Cosmetics, had a long non-compete, and decided to launch Jones Road Beauty. For whatever reason, as like a direct-to-consumer brand.
I've heard that she launched it the day her non-compete
ended. Yeah, so there was no even like pre-launch or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I was doing I learned marketing because I had like my own local business and actually learned like digital. Like we kind of like use that to grow it, and like I just have like a one-track mind. So as soon as I started learning that stuff, I just like got hooked on it and thought it was so cool. So we were in like a network with other people, and like they heard we were having success, so I just started teaching them. And because like local business was limiting to what you can scale, I was like, let me make my way over to e-commerce, because like I just loved Facebook ads, and you can obviously scale so much harder.
So you were doing like Facebook ads and marketing for local businesses in the area that you lived in.
Yeah, and then started like growth marketing. Okay. No, it wasn't the area, but it was like a network, like a business group for like same type of businesses.
Gotcha. Okay.
But it was like, so just doing like growth, like freelance stuff.
What category was that? Clients. It was like medical? Was it home repair?
It was medical. It was like gym and medical.
Got it. Okay.
And then, it was like, e-commerce is really cool. You could scale it much faster. So I was doing a lot. I would like kind of do some like private label stuff for agencies or just like freelance stuff. And when Jones Road was launching, the general manager at the time was asking me my opinion on that side of things. And, should they go agency or in-house? Did I have recommendations? I was like pretty strict, like go in-house. And they were like, we don't know anyone. Do you want to do it? And I was like, probably not. Like, probably not a good idea to work with my mom and whatever.
Yeah.
So when they launched, though, like it was a small team. Like the expectations weren't high for like the growth. Like Bobby kind of did this more as like a fun thing. It was like a 4-person team. So I kind of started consulting, because I would just see something like, you got to do this on the website. You got to have this pop-up go and these flows. And it was such a small team. They're like, we have no one to do it. Like, can you do it? So I kind of just started like, consulting and then like doing a lot of things. And fortunately it was working. And, the business just did really well from the beginning. So they kind of, needed a little bit of help, and honestly just went from there.
How did your mom find the GM? Like, she had sort of not been operating, it sounds like, a business for 2 decades. How did she end up finding the GM for
I know our first employee was who's now our chief product officer.
Yeah.
So the other person on the C-suite with me, she was the first. I think was using a recruiter and kind of doing it stealth.
Got it.
I think she had kind of like a chief of staff at the time who probably was like sought out a recruiter and just kind of, did it in stealth and hired somebody.
Okay, so you joined very early, like they launch and you're doing all the marketing
pretty much
right
from the beginning, yeah.
So Jones Road launched in a very competitive space. Like, what was the thinking when you guys were launching around how you're going to cut through the noise? Was it just that you can rely on the Bobby platform, or Like, how are you thinking about how to differentiate the brand?
Definitely the Bobby thing, but I think I've been, I guess, vocal about this from the beginning. Like, there are a lot of celebrity brands that have much bigger celebrities than Bobby that have not done well, right? Like, obviously there's Honest, there's actually, like, every day there's a new celeb skincare brand that's closing. So it's not just that. And I think don't get me wrong, it's the biggest advantage. We wouldn't be, half the size that we're at or even less than that without her, but it can't be the only thing. So I think when I started there was so much thought that went into like the visuals, went into the product. Obviously, product's the most important thing. It went into visuals, probably less that really went into that messaging. And it's really like evolved. Like, we honestly don't have a brand deck. Like, we've had one or two and we've tried, and we're finally starting to work on it because I think it would be good to have. And it's just amazing to see how much it's evolved over time in terms of who our persona and avatar is and what our unique pillars are. Because, like, for example, like, we're a clean brand. We talked about it in the beginning. Like, people just don't give a shit. Like, that's not unique, right? Like, we said high performance. No one really knows what it means. So I think, we maybe didn't do the best job at the beginning, or we've just really tried to refine that and listen to our customers. So it's just changed so much from the beginning.
So it sounds like visuals were a big thing, which I think your photography might be my favorite.
That's good.
But then do you feel like because you guys use TikTok so aggressively to like figure out and do a lot, I feel like you guys use TikTok in an effort to test the messaging that worked well. Is that true?
Used to, not as much anymore. We got to do a better job of it. But originally, like last year, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Like, we just shot TV ads last week. One of our concepts we call like the origin story. It was essentially Bobby talking about how our top product here, Miracle Balm, got made. And, that's been our top ad concept for the last 2 years, like spent millions on it. It'll be, I think, our top TV ad. That came from a TikTok. Like, I was just filming Bobby at our house when she was on like a masterclass Zoom, and I filmed it, and it just like took off and went viral for whatever reason. So like launched that on TikTok ads, launched that on Facebook, like just for my phone. And then we're like, hey, this is pretty good. Let's turn this into like a studio production and have scaled that. And now, so like, I think we got to do a better job of getting back to that though.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's really interesting. You mentioned that like people don't care about clean ingredients or high performance.
Mm-hmm.
And you said that your avatar has changed a lot over the last 3 years. I guess let me ask two questions. One is how has that customer changed? And two is I'm surprised that they don't care about clean ingredients. I always thought people cared, but why do you think that they don't? It's just not a question. You guys get asked in customer service. Like what gives you that impression?
Yeah, for clean, makeup and beauty it's such a competitive space, right? There are so many brands.
Yeah.
And there's also a lot of clean brands.
Yeah.
There's a lot of kind of no makeup brands, but there are a lot of clean brands. So it's just not unique. It's such a sophisticated market and there are so many competitors. So it just doesn't really set you apart. Probably 5 years ago, it probably was really novel and unique.
Yeah.
But it feels like almost every new brand is clean.
So is it table stakes where you have to be clean, or it doesn't even matter if you are clean? Like I can be dirty for lack of a better term.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it depends kind of who your core
Target
consumer
audience.
is.
Okay.
I would say a lot more of the newer startups are clean.
Okay.
But there's a lot of really successful companies that aren't. Yeah.
And then how's your customer changed over time?
I think there was a thought that it would probably be younger, millennial, Gen Z. I don't really know where that insight came from, but that was kind of the target. And
probably the same people you fired to make your brand book.
Probably, I guess so. But I think, I hate to say like, I told you so, but I was working on Bobby's, like she had like a supplement brand kind of that was like a fun thing before. And I was also running the ads for that. And I knew the people that those ads were going to. I saw all the comments. Like, I think, Bobby makes products that she feels like she needs. And, skin is different at 60 years old that it is going to be at 30.
Sure.
So it definitely is more of a mature audience. And I also think it's what we've really leaned into the most lately. First of all, it's such a large market with addressable concerns, and they're not really being marketed to that well by most of the beauty companies. Most of the beauty companies, there's this like anti-aging kind of like youth thing that they try to market. And, we try to take the stance of like pro-aging, like you obviously want to look better, but it's not trying to look younger. And that's a market with people that, really, really care and are passionate about these things, have some concerns that we think we can help with, and also have disposable income as well.
Yeah. Okay. So it's women basically, you thought it would be young women. It's basically women over the age of 50 or something.
Yeah. And now it's like a problem. Like 80% of our meta spend goes to over 50. And like, no matter how hard we try to, not instead of, but in addition, target a younger audience, like we just can't seem to serve them well. It just always delivers to that older audience now.
Do you use like ASC? Do you use Advantage Plus Shopping and you're targeting? Okay, gotcha. And it's just going to old people.
Yeah, even with like creative, everyone's like, oh, creative is the targeting. Even with creative that has younger people, it just still
goes to older.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you: is creative if you're targeting if Facebook ends up serving to women over the age of 50, let's say, do women that look younger or like let's say they're in their 30s, does that creative work on women over the age of 50, or do you have to end up sort of targeting with people who look like them?
That's a really good question. We try to do kind of a balance. We'll do a lot of like mashups that have multiple people, have Bobby and some other talent as well. So we do both. But yeah, I think if it's exclusively just younger people, no, because a lot of it is like we'll use models or stuff like that, and they're like, this is so not relatable. Like anything's gonna look good on her. She's got perfect skin. So I do think you've got to show. You still want to be aspirational, but you got to show at least a realistic view of who your customer that you're trying to reach is.
I do want to get to Black Friday stuff, but I have a couple more questions before that. Is Facebook your biggest channel for paid acquisition still?
Yeah.
Okay. By far?
Like more than it should be. Yeah, it's like 80+% of spend.
Wow. Okay. And then is number 2 Google or is number 2?
Yeah, TikTok. YouTube has grown pretty big. So yeah, that's number 2. And then TikTok is small.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you guys do organic YouTube as well?
We're just about to start now. We like literally just started for like some of our holiday stuff.
Nice.
We're about to start just like building that production team is work in progress, but it takes so much work.
And so you're still doing everything in like, it sounds like when you joined, you're like, we want to do everything in-house. Today, that's still the case. You're doing creative in-house?
Yeah, we were working with some agencies, kind of learned from them, built our team. We'll work with some like freelancers and things like that, but we've got, full-time, we're actually about to hire a director of content, but we've got like full-time content producer, video editors, creative strategists. We still do some not in-house because we just need more creative, but the majority of creative is in-house. All media buying except for Google search is in-house as well.
Wow. Okay.
You know what's funny? I remember like listening to like a lot of your podcasts that you were on when you're talking about native. I remember that you were like still like media buying yourself, like when you sold, and I almost like had that be a badge of honor. It probably like too much because I don't know the size you were at when you're sold, but like until probably like 2 months ago, like I was still doing almost all media buying. So like not ideal, but like
it's so hard to give it up because it's really like the accelerator, right? And like you want to be in control of that accelerator because you're like, look, I need to like, and also, you're spending $50,000 a day. That's a lot of money, especially if it's your money or like a lot of your money. And so you want to be like, okay, this ad isn't working. I'm not comfortable losing $5,000 tomorrow on this ad. It's my $5,000.
It's hard to like trust people to do it.
That's right. Yeah,
that's part of growing.
And how did you find the person that is doing media buying today now? Or like the team now?
We've got 2. One, they were actually like a family friend connect and had some experience, and she's really good. And then also, so it's a family company. So my cousin, we kind of brought him in at like a lower level, position, and he's kind of helping a lot. There's now on our growth team as well, but he kind of has learned it.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
The hardest part about giving away media buying is that like I feel like media buying is 20% strategy and what you can learn, and 80% gut feeling. Mm-hmm. Like just knowing you see the trend of the numbers and you're like, okay, this is either gonna, like you can feel this is either about to ramp up and hit or it's just gonna flop. Do you agree?
I agree a little bit, but not entirely. I don't think it's 80% gut feeling. I think it like, I remember a really long time ago, before you guys were born, there was this company called Ad Espresso that helped you run Facebook ads.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, you guys know them.
Love Ad Espresso.
And so the CEO of Ad Espresso came into this co-working space that I was in. It was the same co-working space that like Sam Parr was working out of. And it was called Founders Dojo. And he's like, here are 2 different creatives for Facebook ads. One is this beautiful woman using this skincare product and it looks amazing. And the other is basically a stick figure. Which one do you think looks better? Which one do you think performs better? And everyone's like, obviously the beautiful, like, you paid $5,000 for this photograph. It's a model. You edited it. It looks great. And he's like, the stick figure outperforms it 2-1. It's not even close. Wow. And I remember thinking, oh my God, I'll never, you'll never understand this. And in some ways, I think there's still a little truth to that. I think there is a little bit of gut feeling when you start seeing engagement. But there is a little bit of also like when you're putting up creative, a lot of times you will not know what performs. Yeah. I've spent at least $50 million and maybe $100 million by myself on Facebook. And I'm still like, I don't know how this is going to do.
I have absolutely no idea. It's so hard. Yeah,
it's hard.
I think that one's easy to kind of like give to somebody else because you're just like, we're going to test it. It's a lot of it is, I do agree with Nik. We're all like, there's so many, it depends. It's not like, oh, we always kill an ad or we always, kill a campaign at this level. It's kind of like, well, 1.1 is good if we have this, but if we don't have that, like there's so much it depends, and it just takes so much of trying to learn that.
Yeah. There definitely is a lot of like gut feeling to it. And like, I've had a Facebook ad manager rep who's like, you know what you should do with this campaign? Turn it off and clone it and see if that one does better. And I'm like, so why would that change it? Like, why would a new campaign perform any different than this existing campaign tomorrow?
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't know, it just does. And she's right. I don't know why it does. It just does.
That's wild.
And it is a little silly.
Cody, you guys, I don't know if you still do this, but I think, when did Jones Road launch?
October 26, 2020. So just over 3 years.
Okay. So I feel like the first at least 2 full years, a lot of everything you guys did was through a shade finder.
Yeah.
Like sending people to a quiz and asking them some questions, collecting their email. And then I remember hearing that, like let's say my skin tone's brown. I would only ever get email creative with brown colored skincare. And I would only ever see a brown colored pigment in the subject line. Is that true?
Not entirely. I think the first part is true. Still, most of our spend goes through quizzes. So like our top products like Miracle Balm and Foundation, where it's appropriate, goes through quizzes. And we try to personalize like the results to those and as much of that flow as possible, the automations. Yeah. But I wouldn't say we like do that much segmentation on the other stuff.
Why do
that would be a crazy amount.
Yeah. We just don't. We have one person running email. We just don't have the time.
Yeah.
I don't even know how effective it would be. Like it would be worth the time.
Why do you think the quiz works so well, though? Because for so many people, the quiz funnel just doesn't work. And it's because it's like somebody just sees your ad while they're trying to watch a funny video. And then now you're asking them to do more work. But you guys have been insanely successful with this, whereas I'd say 95% of brands just don't.
I think we're probably just in like the perfect category where it makes sense. Like 2% of beauty purchases happen online in general, right? Like the number one biggest, and this will be a good segue into Black Friday, but the number one biggest objection is always, how do I find my shade? How do I know if it's the right color for me? And so that's really just how we position it. We don't really talk about the quiz that much like in ads. So we send to a landing page, either a listicle or what we call a Trojan horse. It's got like all of the information on the product. And the call to action is just choose your shade. And so it's a quiz that just kind of gives them their shade. So I think it just really helps to understand, their biggest objection, which is, how do I know what shade is right for me? Obviously, we collect email. We make it optional, but we still collect a ton of email. So there's a ton of value, and also the first party data. We're not like an Il Makiage. We don't have like a data team or anything like that. So I'm not saying we're leveraging it to that potential, but we still use a lot of the data to help us learn as well as to personalize things somewhat. But I think it's just a shade finding component.
And do you remember the difference in your cost of an email acquisition between when you drove people directly to the quiz versus through a landing page that clicked through to a quiz?
I don't remember looking at that. We just kind of looked at like conversion rate, and we just tested multiple different journeys of that. So we would test like landing page to PDP, landing page straight to checkout, landing page to quiz. And then we've also done quiz to, to lander, because that's how Il Makiage does. Just what we found worked best was landing page to quiz for us.
Got it.
Just on like conversion rate and like revenue per session. We haven't looked at like email for that.
How many steps to the quiz are there?
There's probably like 6 or 7 questions.
Okay.
We've got a few. So we've got like 4 quizzes. So anything where it makes sense, it's like a hero product where like they actually need help finding their shade.
How often are you testing the quiz? Is it all the time, or is it like you've dialed it in now?
No, it's not even that we've dialed it in. It's just like we're a bootstrap team. We're super lean. We should test more. We haven't even been testing landers that much lately, so we should be doing more. It's just focus.
When you're running ads at the scale you're running them, do you have to back off from a conversion event? Are you still purchase only, or do you back off to add to cart or like upper funnel events?
It's a great question. We've been testing a lot. I don't know if I have the answer. We've been doing a lot of reach stuff. Have been getting some pretty good incremental lift on that. What we found probably like 6 months ago, maybe 5 months ago, was like, no matter what we did, we were just reaching the same people over and over and over. Yeah. Part of that, I think, is creative diversity, but I also think part of that is just the purchase optimized things. And we didn't really have like a true upper funnel like other channels. I think other brands our size were probably more diversified in their channel mix. And so we didn't really have the bandwidth to do TV ads at a time or something like that. So we tested reach. We've tested it 2 or 3 times. We use like an incrementality tool where we test it, and we've seen a pretty good lift from that. We haven't tested as much like lower or mid funnel events like add to cart, landing page views. We've done a little bit. What I really want to do is I want to take our quiz, keep the funnel the same, but just have a campaign where we're optimizing for like quiz completions and run that over like a 12-week period, just like very small holdout, and see how incremental that is.
Where your conversion event is the quiz completion.
Yeah. Haven't done that, but I'll be sure to update you when we do.
Okay, and you moved a little bit further upper funnel. You've tested add to cart or possibly view content, but really you're doing reach as
Yeah, we were actually advised by our meta reps to like kind of like skip some of that stuff.
You were.
Yeah. No, but we did. So we rolled out. We essentially did a reach test. We did a 2-cell test, which is like most of the country is going to get just our normal business as usual, which is just purchase. So it's a mix of Advantage Plus and manual purchase. And then a small bit of the country. So it's like that's 20% of the country. That's the holdout. And then 80% of the country is going to get conversion plus reach. So that's the only thing that changed. We ran it for 2 weeks with like a 2-week look back, which is not really a long enough time for reach. And I had no idea how to buy reach. So I think we messed up a lot of that stuff, but we still found a lift. It wasn't that efficient, but there was still like a 2% incremental lift on that, meaning like we got 2% more new customers when we ran reach compared to not. It wasn't as efficient as we wanted to be. So our meta reps were like, dude, you have no idea what you're doing with reach. Because like, you know how normally on like a purchase objective, you don't even have to select a gender or an age demo and it'll optimize. So that works when you're optimizing for a purchase event. When you're optimizing for impressions, it's going to deliver to the cheapest impression. So like, as I was saying before, like most of our spend on purchase goes to an older audience. Half our spend went to like 18-year-olds. And like, that was not right. Half of our spend went to males. And also our creative was like just our normal creative. Like we didn't produce new creatives for it. And we still found a lift. So what we did, and this is, again, another segue into Black Friday, we launched a longer term test. So we did a 6-week test, a 3-cell test. So this time we did just purchase, which was a holdout, purchase plus landing page views. So that's kind of like the full funnel approach, kind of having all of those. And then
I'm sorry, before you get purchase plus landing page views, what is that? Are those two different campaigns? Like, what does that mean?
Okay, sorry. So essentially think of having 3 different cells where imagine you break up the country into thirds.
Okay.
You're doing different treatments and you're only changing one variable in each.
Okay, so one is purchase.
Okay. So one is just purchase, which we'll call the holdout. That's like our business as usual. Yeah. One is purchase plus reach. So that's cell 2.
Yeah.
That's just upper funnel plus bottom funnel. And then a third one, we wanted to try a full funnel approach. So it had reach, it had purchase, which is bottom, but we also had some mid funnel events. We chose landing page views for that.
Yeah.
We started that end of September because we have a lot of like our busy season is pretty much fall, like end of Q3 to Q4. Like we've got a lot of launches. So we kind of started that and honestly didn't do a proper look back until after Black Friday. And I do think that it was really effective. I'm still trying to figure out how effective, because like it's still different to measure than a purchase thing. But yeah, what we found was the mid funnel one didn't really do much, but just a reach on top of it performed really well.
Okay, so the one with landing page views, the third cell wasn't it? It was the second cell that won.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
And that was very targeted reach, or that was unoptimized reach.
Yeah. So we did a better job. Like we targeted the proper ages, we targeted the proper demos. Yeah, exactly. And we got our frequency higher. It was too low on the first time. So we tried to learn from our mistakes, but I think our thought process was, because we saw the impact from the first time we did it, and we didn't do it properly, we wanted to give it a better test. And it's hard to measure, but I really do think that's one of the reasons we had such a successful Black Friday, is like we really tried to fill that funnel up ahead of time.
Nice.
Want to take time off from running your current Shopify business to build your next Shopify business? When you join Open Store Drive, you can take 12 months off to pursue other ventures while still getting paid. You'll receive guaranteed monthly payments for a year, and OpenStore will manage everything, including your business's marketing, customer support, inventory, and more. Shopify businesses with more than $500,000 in yearly net sales qualify. Head to open.store/limited for details.
Okay, so Black Friday, I think your sale actually was only Black Friday to Cyber Monday.
Yeah.
When did you start preparing from a team and strategy perspective? And then when did you, like, was there a day where you're like, okay, we're going to start trying to fill up that upper funnel today? Or did that just happen because it happened?
Good question. So we try not to do like a traditional discount. So our best-selling product is Miracle Balm. And again, people's biggest objection is, it's $38 and, our AOV is much higher than that. So it's kind of, they're like, I don't know how to find my shade. They're like, do you guys have minis? Like if you look at comments on our ads all year round, it's minis. So we've sold a set of 4 minis every Black Friday that we've had. So 3, and we've always sold out on the first day. We just have never had nearly enough. We do it twice a year. So we do it Memorial Day as well. So I think we knew that demand would be there. We still sold out on Memorial Day after like a day and a half. So I remember calling our head of product. It was like, order more, like get as many as you can. She's like, we're limited by jars.
Yeah.
But we got as many as we could. I think it was 8 times more than Black Friday last year. So it was the first time where I felt like we actually had enough to really push it. Like it wouldn't make sense to fill the funnel more and spend money doing it if we don't have it. So it was probably, I would say September is when we really got thoughtful about it. That's when we launched that upper funnel campaign. That's when we really tried to get, smart about how we were forecasting and being able to be more aggressive filling that funnel. Again, we're, not on TV yet, not on some larger things, but trying to put some more investment into, YouTube ads and upper funnel reach stuff and just spending more in general.
Was there a Black Friday sort of budget? Are you like, okay, we need to fill this upper funnel. It's September and October. Let's fill it with this much. Or were you looking at performance being like, okay, if we do reach, this is our CPA, we're still profitable. So it's okay. Like, did you think, okay, we just need to fill up the upper funnel, or were you thinking about it like dollar wise?
Both. We kind of optimize off of like a blended MER, AMER, perspective. So it's got to be in there. So it's not like
explain what MER is just for people who don't.
Of course. So MER is essentially blended ROAS. It's revenue divided by spend. Just because attribution, you can go so far down a rabbit hole with attribution that it's best to keep it simple. And it's really just media efficiency ratio. So let's just say we want to spend 25% of our revenue on ads. That's, a 5 MER, right? That's some businesses target.
4. 25%.
Yeah, sorry, that's a 4. Yeah. 20% would be a 5. And then AMER is that same thing, but just looking at new customer revenue. So new customer revenue divided by spend. That could also be called like a blended new customer ROAS.
Yeah.
Again, just because, especially as you are spending a lot and on multiple different channels, it's very hard to be like, oh, that was a Facebook conversion, that was a Google conversion.
Yes.
So that's how we do it. What we will do and did do is kind of try to maybe be a little bit more aggressive and maybe slightly less efficient leading up to it and just forecast that out. Hopefully, like we have at least enough historical data now that we can kind of see when we are more efficient, when we are less efficient. So if we know, let's just say the goal is a 5 MER, but we know Black Friday weekend or up to that, you're going to be at like a 6, a 7, that allows you to run at like a 4, a 3.5 earlier. I'm just making up those numbers, but that's kind of like how we went about it.
Do you target a certain segment? God, I love this conversation. I love talking about marketing. It's so good. Do you target a certain, are you like, hey, we're ready to spend 25% of revenue on marketing? Is there a number there? Is it 25%? Is it 20%? Is it 40%? It shouldn't be, I wouldn't guess it's not 40%, but is there a number there?
I can't share the specific numbers, but what we've done up through this year is we have targeted that kind of a certain percent, of our net revenue on marketing.
Yeah.
The majority of that is paid media. And then there's obviously any other marketing costs in there.
Sure.
That has kind of been how we've done it. We've been fortunate enough to grow very quickly. We haven't had to think about necessarily growth versus efficiency.
Yeah.
And I think that'll change. I think we're getting to a size where it might be a little bit harder to come by. We need to invest a little bit more, but we want to do so not at the expense of profitability. We don't want to grow for revenue's sake. We want to grow for bottom line. And so, I know you guys had Ben on and that was a great podcast, but really thinking about, maximizing contribution dollars. So our shift for next year is going from efficiency. So optimizing MER, AMER, to optimizing our spend and marketing to total contribution dollars. And that might mean it's at a smaller percentage. So it might mean we're actually spending more as a percent on ads, but
total dollars will be higher.
Yeah, exactly. And not just revenue, but also contribution dollars, which all else being equal leads to more EBITDA dollars.
Okay, so there has been like a thought of like, this is our marketing budget in the past of like a percentage. And you think of it as a percentage.
But it's variable. Yeah. It's not like, oh, it's 2 million. It's like, hey, it's 20%.
Yeah, so if you grow top line a ton, the marketing budget goes up too. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so you start in September, start spending money to fill up that top of the funnel. You launch these 4 minis. Is that really is that the Black Friday and Cyber Monday offer? Is that like, there's no discount?
There's a small discount in there. That's really our main offer. We don't sell them year round. We say they're $18 a piece. We've always sold them for $16 a piece. So it was like a 10% or whatever. We decided this year to sell them for $17.
Yeah, it's for like $64 or $68.
Yeah, it used to be 64 because I actually wanted to do it for 18 and it was like a back and forth between me and our chief product officer, and we kind of aligned in the middle. I think she wanted to kill me when I said 18, but my thinking was like, if we think we're going to sell out, we're not sure. Like, people aren't buying these because of the deal and the price. They're buying them for the other reasons they want it. If the demand is there, we did the math. Why not make 6 to 7 figures extra profit without changing anything?
And so there's 4 of them. There you get 4 mini Miracle Balms for $68. Yeah. Do you choose the 4 colors?
They can choose.
You choose the 4 colors inside. Yeah. So how do you think about inventory? Like, who's thinking about inventory planning? Like, I get the jars are a big deal, but at some point you got to be like, does this color sell way better than this color? We have to have like, who's doing that?
So on our product and ops team, we have a senior director of demand planning. Okay. So she kind of does demand, supply planning, all of those. We are now working like super close with marketing to be able to kind of realize, spend plans and really try to marry up what we're spending and how aggressive we're trying to be with our supply. But yeah, they kind of do that and they look historically at our assortment of different SKUs.
Yeah. Did you guys run out this Black Friday for Miracle?
No, we didn't. We sold a lot. I mean, I think you guys probably saw like it was so cool because Harley shouted us out.
Yeah, I saw
on,
that.
CBS and Fox and stuff like that. We sold out of, I think, 3 shades. We sold out of probably 4 shades in the UK. So we had enough and we pushed spend really hard.
One other question I had, sorry, and then I'll let you go. You were talking about the marketing cost as a percentage of revenue. Like, one of the hard parts is when you have an agency. Well, let me ask you this. When you have an agency, you're like, okay, this agency cost is probably a marketing cost. Like who's running Google Ads. When you have it in-house, it's a little unclear. Is your in-house marketing team part of the marketing expense or not? Or part of
that's a really good question. And I think probably everybody does it a little bit differently. Right now, we still have a lot of things under marketing that shouldn't be. And like we just didn't want to move them out like mid-year. Like we have website under marketing, which is like not marketing. That's like a sales expense. That's like a Shopify variable fee. So I think anything that's truly marketing, that's related to customer acquisition costs should be in marketing. And it should be just things that are variable. I think it's really important to split out anything that's variable from fixed. And so even like softwares or agencies, if they are on fixed cost, if you make $1 million or 10 and you pay them the same, that should be in OpEx. That shouldn't be in marketing. If it's something, again, we don't have many agencies, but if like you do have an agency, you're paying a percentage of spend, that should be in marketing, in my opinion.
Wow, that's really interesting.
Do you not agree?
It's not that I agree or disagree. It's that it just makes incentive so hard. Like, look, you're a family business, and so it's very different. But if you were like a publicly traded business or completely unrelated business partners, and the chief marketing officer would be incentivized based on like marketing spend, right? Then if I were in your shoes, for instance, and obviously you're not doing this, I'd be like, okay, I can only hire people who have fixed marketing. Like, you're a Google agency. I can pay you $20,000 a month. I cannot pay you a percentage of revenue. And that's where it gets a little bit like touchy, but like, you're not there. You're like, yours is a closely held organization.
That's
so
fair. That's fair. Yeah. I just care about EBITDA and what it's going to do that.
Yes,
but I think depending on how you structure it, you can definitely get some bad incentives. I think the reason I like this is because you can forecast and kind of really understand what next year is going to look like. If we're going to spend more on ads, we don't really need another media buyer. We don't need that. We might need more creative. So maybe that's a variable thing, but
Yeah, it makes a ton of sense.
What is your Black Friday marketing SWAT team? What did that look like in terms of, like, I assume you guys would have maybe hourly check-ins or every other hour you guys would check in, but like who all was in that team?
I think we probably start on like the ops side. Like that's so important because we're not running a discount where it's very inventory related. So we've got, our demand planner, our chief product officer who kind of oversees all product and ops, and a few people on the ops team, like very closely monitoring inventory, NetSuite, things like that, giving pretty much hourly to, every few hours updates on inventory and sellout times. Because that's most important. It's like we've got to optimize towards that in inventory. And then on the marketing team, myself, like I'm pretty much running the media that weekend just because to me it's that important. Growth manager.
Back at it, huh?
Yeah,
Can't get away from it.
It was so much fun. It was so much fun. That growth manager who helps a lot, and then growth kind of coordinator. Really, that's our team.
How many emails did you guys send out, and what percentage of revenue was driven by email?
So, and super quickly, you didn't ask because I know Ben said like they do like hourly meetings. We just did everything async, but we were just slacking away. I think we had. I posted something on Twitter. We had like some like 60, 70 comment thread chains because I would just be like, here's today's pacing update. Here's what we're at. Like, I'm going to pull back here. And like anytime we made a change, I would just kind of like log it there or we would log it there. Yeah. So we kind of just did everything async, but like we were on pretty much all weekend. We stayed up till, 2:30 the first night, just making sure everything went smoothly. It didn't. So I'm glad we were up. Like all of our new campaigns didn't start spending right away, our ASCs. So it was good that we had other stuff going. And then,
are you limited to 8 ASC campaigns?
I have no idea. Okay. I've never done more than that, so I don't even know. Okay, we've only got a few. And then for email, we probably sent more than normal, probably much less than most brands. I think we sent 3 on the first day, 2 texts, probably 1 to 2 every day, and then 2 on the final day. So probably less than most, but was definitely, I pushed for it and was normal, higher than our normal. When we look at email revenue, we don't look at Klaviyo. So we'll just like look at GA, last click or something like that directionally. Normally we're about 20%. We were, honestly, I couldn't tell you, but it was pretty high. Like a lot of repeat revenue these days, so probably closer to 30 or 40.
Do you have a good understanding of what percentage of revenue came new customers organically?
New, yes. Organic, I don't know. I have such a hard time splitting between like a paid customer or organic, so I don't really look at that. But like new versus repeat, yeah.
And I also noticed you guys have a new pop-up for SMS number collection with the opt-in. How is that working?
I think it's crushing. I don't really know the specifics of it. I just know when we flipped it live.
I've heard it's doubled.
When we flipped it live, I'll send you like our forecast. It looks like the line is broken on it.
Wow.
Yeah, I know that.
Have you seen this, Moiz?
No, what's that?
So you know how you know that meme on Twitter that's like the best Apple feature? It's like when you get a verification text, you can just touch it.
Yeah.
So Postscript just built this. And Jones
that's what they're supposed to be launched. Is that the thing that's on Twitter?
Yeah.
Okay, what is
and it's like tripled opt-in rate for the stores that they've put it on. But it's basically like you put your email in, you hit submit. You put the phone number in, you hit submit. Normally, you now have to leave the site.
And click
this,
yes.
This is what kills conversion rate. Mm-hmm. But now the number just pops in. You just tap the number in the keyboard. It puts it in the pop-up, and you hit submit. And then you get like, if you're using Fondue, you get a cashback offer in the cart or whatever the deal is, it auto-applies. But you don't have to leave the site.
Who's doing that? Like, let me see an example of that.
Go to Jones Road's site or
you
go
guys
to
are doing
True
it,
Classic or Caraway.
Yeah, it's like exploded our list growth. It's been crazy.
Yeah.
Is it mobile specific? Is it mobile?
Do it on your iPhone.
Okay, I'm going to do it after this. Okay, gotcha. So there was this glossy article about you guys. It said that you sold 375,000 Miracle Balm mini kits. Is that right?
No, we sold that many units, not kits.
Okay, gotcha.
We didn't have many units.
Okay, yeah, because they were like, this is $25 million in revenue. And I was like, this must have been an insane.
It was still big, but it was, you can do the math, but it wasn't, just divide that by 4.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then there must have been a lift. Well, let me ask you this. Were people like, where the fuck is my discount? Is anyone asking, where's this discount? Or like
a lot of people do, but I think not.
You're a brand.
Yeah, not that we're a giant brand, but still, when you get to a size, I think there's always going to be comments and always going to be detractors. There were a lot of comments about the price being crazy for a mini, but you know, I think it's hard to please everybody. I think we want to do what's right, but we also our business.
Sure.
Well.
Yeah, of course. And then did you see did it also uplift regular Miracle Balms, or were people like, oh, there's no discount, I'm just going to wait? Or like, how did it work?
We do see an uplift, I think, because people are getting above the free shipping threshold and stuff like that.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, so we actually don't even see cannibalization. It's not like people are buying the full size less. So yeah, we see an uplift on pretty much everything.
And is it mostly new customers who are buying? Like, this is what if Miracle Balm is your number one seller. If I bought Miracle Balm in the past, I probably understand what shade I should get. Or so why are people buying the kits, or is it new customers buying the kits? Tell me a little bit about how you thought about that.
Kind of combo. So one thing that we've done before that was like different this year, usually we tell people like the day ahead of time, we'll kind of tease it. Like, I hate it because once you tell somebody that something is coming, revenue just from return customers just plummets. This year we decided, and I was so worried about it, we actually told them on Monday. And so we did a sign up page. We developed like a really quick page, actually ran ads to it. And I think that gave, one reason it did well, but I think it gave repeat customers and new a lot of time to really kind of prepare and find their shades and get ready for it. So we saw like really strong repeat customer revenue. Miracle Balm is like, you can have multiple shades. It's not like a foundation where like you've got one. There's a lot of different use cases to it. So like some people will buy all 10 or all 12. And so it's kind of a combination. So you might have your shade, but you might want to try more, and this is the best time to do it. Gifting, it's also really good for gifting and stocking stuffers. And then new is a big one.
Okay, let me ask you about that sign up page. So on Monday, you send out an email saying, hey, we're launching this Miracle Balm thing, Miracle Balm minis for $68. Sign up if you want to be notified.
Not to email, because we already had their emails.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we told them an email. I think we might have we would segment. So if we got their email and not text, we would tell them to sign up for that.
Gotcha. Okay.
We've got this Facebook group that's got like 30,000 people in it. So we might try people that. But
wow, that's so good. Sorry, just to interrupt there. You send out an email being like, hey, sign up for this. We only have your email address. So you need to give us your text message.
We don't say it. We try not to say it, but exactly.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, we'll send them to the Facebook group. Yeah. But we also ran ads to it. We ran like ads optimizing for people signing up for that.
What was the cost per email address on those ads? Do you have an
99
idea?
cents. I was expecting $3, but it converted 58%. So
wow.
We got like 20K signups from that. Again, it's hard to know how that converted, but overall that was
could
really
you do a look back to see what your CPA would have been, or CPO?
You can, and like on the attribution side, it looked really good. It's just hard to know if that was incremental or not, if they would have purchased otherwise. but just on that segment, like looked really good. And then like social stories and stuff like that, and a lot of our like earned media, like influencers, they posted the sign up page. So I think that helped a little bit. But what was crazy, we usually see our biggest spike at like the 8 a.m. hour when we've done this before, because we told them so early. Our people just get super loyal. They stayed up till midnight.
Wow, so
our peak hour was the first hour. It was midnight. It was like the peak.
Really?
Didn't you do like all of last year's revenue or something?
I think in
the
like
first
40
30
minutes or
minutes?
something.
Yeah.
It was wild.
Well, your busiest hour was midnight to 1 a.m.
Yeah. I
'Cause
remember
people-
texting Cody on Black Friday, and he's like,
I was
we
giving some
already did it.
screenshots. Yeah,
Wow.
it was wild. Yeah, because people just, people actually stay up because every time we've done this before, we've sold out super quickly. And so I think that's why we wanted to tell them, we're like, it's such a busy time with all the promotions. Like, we actually have inventory. We're not going to do this again for 6 months or whatever. Like, we want people to make sure they don't miss it. So that's why we told them early. I think it worked.
Let me ask 2 questions. And one is, with the excess Miracle Balm minis that you didn't sell, do you just keep them till Memorial Day?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah.
And then 2 is, when you look back on it, what are some of the mistakes you made? Did you like not have enough faith? Should you, instead of 8 times, should you ordered 16 times? An email address was 99 cents. Should you have spent, like, what are some of the things that you wish you had done?
It's a great question. Super quickly, just on the other question, we will do a lot of like kits throughout the year, kind of like bundles. And
I saw there was like a platinum
we'll use
kit when you
that.
had it.
Yeah, exactly. So like we did a lot of holiday ones. We will put mini Miracle Balms in that. So we'll do a bunch of them.
And you get to choose the mini Miracle color that you get in there, right?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. It's kind of all different. But it's great for acquisition, higher AOV, and you get the mini. But we'll also use them for Memorial Day. No, we ordered the max we could. I'm really happy about the number we ordered. It didn't break the bank, but it gave us, it was the first year that we were limited on demand and not supply. Every other year we were limited on, the supply of it, and we pushed really hard. I don't really think I would have spent more, maybe a little bit more leading up to it. We were slightly more efficient, but I mean, we spent a lot. We spent almost $1 million on Black Friday. So like, I don't really know how much more
on
we could have
ads.
spent. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So I don't know how much more we really could have spent. We probably could have spent more leading up to it. I would have spent more on that email capture thing going to it.
Okay. And so of that $1 million or nearly $1 million you spent, most was 80% was Facebook.
And on a day like that, even higher.
Yeah. Okay.
It's probably 90 on that. But YouTube did well, TikTok did well, but it's such a small percentage of spend.
Yeah. What do you use to pay for Facebook ads?
We do Amex.
So how many times are you paying that Amex down? Because like, or is your credit limit $1 million?
It is, but I was still freaking out. I sent, Slacks, and I didn't hear back in Slack to our controller. So I sent like a all caps email, like, we got to pay this off. Cause like if you hit your limit and your
ads stop.
You're fucked. So like we were trying to be as on top of it as I could. And I would give the forecast, but we were spending so much above what our forecasts were. I thought we would spend $350 on Black Friday or something like that. And that still would have been high. So we were pretty much paying it down every day. But we want the points and the cash back. It adds up over time. And fortunately, we're in a pretty good cash flow position. So we don't necessarily need float or anything like that.
Yeah. Just so I'm sure you know this, but on Facebook, you can have a default payment method and then there's a backup payment method. So when your default one fails, it goes to your backup so that the ads don't turn off.
We do have a backup. We still have had it in the past.
when we were
with
issues.
A different card with issues.
Yeah.
I guess I would love to talk about like the stuff that went wrong, like definitely what we could improve, but like there's also always things that go wrong and kind of casualties of a successful weekend even.
Totally. Yeah. There's no, you're fighting a war and, there's always going to be issues that go along with that.
So last year, when we sold out, we oversold, because there's always some syncing issues and delays, we oversold Flush, so one of the shades. So what we did is we had our 3PL fulfill full size for anybody that got a partial. And kind of, we gave them the option to either cancel their order, refund that piece, or get the full size. Most people kept the full size because they appreciated it. We asked them this year via email to remove that script that they wrote, but they didn't. So all of the people that ordered the mini for that shade that got fulfilled got a full size. So obviously we had to deal with that. And because we sold so much more, I think it was like 50,000 orders that had that. We were able to stop. I think only 20,000 of them fulfilled before we found it. We're going to make the 3PL pay for that because that was their mistake. And we've got it in writing that, that we asked them to change it. But obviously that is an inconvenience. Our CX team, they have to do a lot of work. Fortunately, we're offering to let people keep the full size and ship them the partial size. We actually have the inventory this year, but it's, that's annoying. And thank God they're willing to cover because that could be very costly. We had to sever our tie to NetSuite and the syncing thing and do a lot of it manually because there was just so much going. And then We don't have a data warehouse yet. Again, it was also our biggest CXQ of the year. I think we have like 2,500 tickets still, but like we had like 5,000 at the time.
Yeah.
So not prepared for that. And then, we don't have a warehouse. So we use something called Funnel, which is almost like a Supermetrics alternative to kind of pipe in, data from ad platforms and Shopify into Google Sheets. And like, it stopped working. Like, I don't know if it'll even get to working again. So like, we've been putting everything in manually. So there's just always this like annoying stuff that goes wrong.
Was that script that the 3PL was using to upgrade from mini to full size operating all year from last year to this year, or was it just Black Friday?
It was operating, but we only sell it twice a year.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So it's just Memorial Day.
Caught it,
and Oh, wow, that is.
I'm curious what your tech stack looks like. Like you mentioned Funnel. What else outside of the norm? What are some? I know you've mentioned House before as well.
So we use Shopify Plus, Klaviyo. We use Northbeam for MTA. We use Northbeam's beta for MMM.
What is MTA? What's MMM?
Multi-touch attribution. So that's like an attribution tool. Again, everybody's got like different opinions. I think you can go really deep.
I thought you were a triple whale guy.
Oh yeah. You got to edit that part out. No comment. Everyone's got different opinions. Like we use it directionally. I don't think anything is accurate on the attribution. It's just directionally. We kind of just use like a 1-day click for that. MMM, because now that we are spending more and we're trying to do more upper funnel stuff, like that really doesn't get captured by a click platform because like half a YouTube viewing happens on a TV. So you kind of have to test with other ways. And then House has been great. So that's what we use for geo testing as well. We don't have a data warehouse yet. We're probably going to go to like Dacity or something like that because it's just we're getting to that size. I'm trying to think what else.
NetSuite.
NetSuite we use. PostScript we use for
text
for SMS as well. I feel like that's like the majority. Octane AI for quizzes.
What do you use for landing pages? Is it also
Replo? We use Replo for landers.
And how many landers do you have running at any given time?
Not a ton. Probably again, I think we can do a better job of testing more and testing more aggressively. So not a ton. It hasn't been a focus. We've probably got like 3 or 4.
Wow.
But not a lot.
That's nothing. Yeah. 3 or 4 is that's so easy to make.
It's not a lot. I think we got a little complacent and we just got to take the time to focus on it.
And how do you decide, this isn't related to marketing, how do you decide how many shades of Miracle Balm there should be? Like, why aren't there 50? Why are there a dozen?
It's a good question. We want to make sure we look at the data and that they're being incremental and they're not cannibalizing from another shade. B, I guess aware of the paradox of choice. And if we know that that's our top product that we spend on, and most people's biggest objection is how do I find my shade? The more shades we add, the more complexity it adds. So I think that's it. And part of our message is, you don't need a lot of products. So it's a little hypocritical if we then
have 50 different shades.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a great answer.
What we'll do often is we'll launch one limited edition. So either in like a kit. So like our anniversary kit, we called it the Bobby kit, and we had a new shade in it. Sold through 25,000 of the kits, and people are in our Facebook group and on social are like begging for us to bring it back. So we'll kind of do that. We've done some limited edition, and people didn't care for them, and we don't really bring them back. So that's partly how we do.
How many of your ads have Bobby in them? You said like one of the great ones was the origin story. Yeah. How many other ones have them?
I would say over 50% of them.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. And does everyone recognize her instantly, or does she have to be like, the name I recognize? Do people recognize her, or is it sort of like, oh, you're Bobby Brown?
A little bit of both. I think a lot of people know the name, but they don't necessarily know there's a person behind it. And then I think a lot of people recognize her as well, so it just performs better. But we want creative diversity, so we want different things working, and not just her, because it appeals to some people, but other things appeal to others.
Yeah. When I'd seen Bobby Brown and certainly heard of it, and when I found out that was a person, I was like, oh, of course this should be a person.
Same.
Oh yeah, there's a person. It's just been around for so long. You just assume it's like, Procter & Gamble. It's been here forever.
All right, Cody, as we wrap up, one thing you're going to do next year's Black Friday that you maybe wish you did better this year or didn't anticipate for that other people can also learn from?
That is a good question. That is a really good one.
I'll tell you what I was thinking for that was, I think next year, 2 things I'm going to focus on. One is brand building, like getting people to associate the brand name with a product they want to buy, probably starting around summer. The second thing is building those lists. Like you had the sign up list for people to jump on the sale. The brands that had that this year just crushed. I mean, they had a guaranteed, $250,000 or $500,000 coming in as soon as that message went out.
I think you're right about that. Not to take a cop out, but I think it's pretty much that. I think it's for us, it's 25% of our revenue in that month or in the season. And it's so hard, especially for like a performance marketer, to kind of put those dollars into things that, you're hoping pan out later in several months. But I mean, the data is pretty clear. I think now that we have had some success with it, it gives us a little bit more confidence to put more and start building that funnel earlier. And so I would get more aggressive with it. And even if you're a smaller brand, like it might be list building, doing swaps, email swaps. Like there probably are some free or cheap ways to do it that you don't have to put into TV ads. But yeah, I would definitely think about it. I feel like the data is pretty clear that like very few people are buying from a brand new brand during that season. That's already something they've considered for a while.
Yeah.
So basically put dollars towards a list and nurture it earlier so that on Black Friday you can hit a lot more people.
Yeah.
Do you find the Black Friday customer to be not as strong as like other, you're not discounting, so it's a little bit different, but like, is Black Friday customer more discount focused or are they just as strong as other cohorts?
I think it's not as strong, but I think probably it's a little bit stronger than if we were to do a discount.
Yeah.
And also there's a lot of gifting. This is just like a conspiracy theory, but I think a lot of it doesn't look good because there's a lot of gifting. But so you might buy in November, you might gift it to me. I might buy as a new customer in January. So January acquisition looks really good, but I think some of that is actually from that gifting. So
that's a great point.
I don't know how to measure that.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, fantastic. Thanks so much for sharing all this. If people want to follow you, where should they, aside from like, going to Jones Road Beauty and buying stuff, I don't know what percentage of our listeners are male. I would imagine it's the majority.
99.5%.
So I'm not sure this will get you a ton.
I don't think that's true. I've talked to a bunch of like female founders and operators.
We actually have some good female listeners. Shout out to the female.
A couple of them. A lot of bad ones, a couple good ones. How should people stay in touch with you?
Yeah, I hope this was helpful. But again, thanks so much.
It was incredibly
for having me on.
Yeah, it was incredibly helpful for me.
Yes.
No, I appreciate it. Twitter at Cody Plof on Twitter. Have a newsletter, and then a lot of roles we're recruiting for. So if anyone is looking for a senior director of growth role, that's probably the most important one. Hit me up on Twitter or LinkedIn or something. And
can you spell at Cody Plof on Twitter, because I know the last name's a little bit different.
So last name is Plofker, but Twitter is just CodyPlof.
Okay, perfect. Thanks so much. We're at a great end to season 6.
Yeah, great. I'm excited.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Cody.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next time to cut through the noise in CPG, retail, and e-commerce.
And if you enjoyed this episode, then why not share it with a friend? And be sure to subscribe wherever you listen so you don't miss the next one.